Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Please, someone let me know if you can hear me. I am having a problem with this. I'm trying to answer the chat. It's just not working. Okay, whatever. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so we're good. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, post-market wrap up. This we got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to talk about something I wasn't even going to talk about, but it really it's important and it plays right into what I know is coming. There's just no doubt about it. Anyway, everyone. So, in case I didn't say it, the post market wrap up. This is what is today. I don't even know what today is. Anyway, it's June 10th, 2025. Let's start off with the market. You got Bitcoin at about 110,000. Crypto's doing well. Gold and silver relatively flat. Crude oil a slight loss today. The dollar flat, still up below 100 on the Dixie. You get the 10-year yield slightly lower. But again, man, this is gonna blow up. And we just got a warning. Did you guys see the warning from PIMCO? I didn't even get to dissect it yet. So PIMCO, like the bond extravaganza over there. Yeah, they issued a warning on the bond market. Imagine how shocked we are. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to dig into it. I want to see what's going on. They're talking about, are you ready for this? PIMCO is talking about a new world order. Now, we're seeing the effects of it right now. California are part of it. Look, if any of you believe, really honestly, not a single one of you that is here with believes in this, that this is really about illegals. No, this is a test bed. They want to see what they can get away with over there. Again, you remember this and this, what they can do, whatever they got to do to us and things we can't even imagine. Well, that's what we're seeing, and it's just a test bed for where we are going. Edward knows exactly what I'm talking about. The United States is going to turn into California. This is a cover story, man. You guys and girls better get hip to the situation quick if you're not yet. Anyway, so going back to the market, the Dow, S&P, and the Nasdaq did put on some gains, but I'll tell you something. $1 trillion of stock buybacks in the last month. This is historic. Okay. Really hasn't done as much as you would expect it to do. But we'll see where this plays out. And the warning, and I just really briefly read it over from PIMCO. Thanks, Clemente. Good to see you here. They're talking about an issue with the stock market as well. We're going to cover this tomorrow morning, I promise you. But let's do this. Let's start off with this one here. This is huge. Let's put California on the back burner for a moment here, because I want to talk about this. This is huge. Okay, 99% of people don't know where to look, and they're counting on it. Again, when I read through this and cover this for you guys, a lot of you have already read it. It's in your inbox right now. If you subscribe to my newsletter, again, it's free. Link in the description of this video. The mainstream media will never talk about what's happening. What's happening at the U.S. Treasury right now, really a direct-ish result of the downgrade of U.S. debt, which our lovely, illustrious Scott Bessent. You trust that man, right? You trust him? Former George Soros guy, has nothing to do with this guy being a homosexual male, married to a male with adopted children. Nope. Okay, because I get called out for that. Greg's a homophobe. Call me anything you want. It's Babylon talking, all right? I'm telling you that this guy, our U.S. Treasury Secretary, is a liar, a thief, a con man, and a whole bunch of other things too. But again, you guys and girls who want to speak out against me, that's fine. I understand where this is all coming from. But so you won't hear our U.S. Treasury Secretary come out and talk about this. You won't hear the president talk about this. You're not going to hear a central banker talk about this or anyone, because this must be kept hidden from you. So let's talk about it. U.S. Treasury's distress signal, a last resort move. This is a last resort move. Lines, the TGA, Treasury General Account. How many of you even know what that is? It's kind of like a checking account for the United States. Well, let's move forward here. The TGA, or Treasury General Account, is being bled down, and this is a major problem. So what is the TGA? Now, I got this right from Google search. The Treasury General Account, TGA, is the primary operating account of the U.S. Department of Treasury, maintained at the Federal Reserve. It acts as the government's checking account. Yeah, I just said that. Handling tax receipts, proceeds from Treasury security sales, and disbursements of government payments. The TGA plays a crucial role, pay attention to this, in managing the government's cash flow, providing a buffer against potential debt ceiling crises. And we do see this. I will give you that. Whenever there's a debt ceiling, you see what's happening right now, and impacting liquidity in the financial system. That's the last sentence, and that's the one that matters, because what's happening now, since the U.S. debt downgrade, let's see if this makes sense to you. Countries don't want to lend to us anymore at the last yield. Now they want more. They want more premium. So our U.S. debt peddler, Scott Besson here, he's got to beg on his hands and knees to get nations to buy U.S. debt now. And you know what? They're not buying. So let's move forward. Lions, the TGA is drawing down cash. This is a clear sign that liquidity is drying up. Something I have been talking about it forever. So what's under the surface? Liquidity is drying up faster, and we called this years ago. People, there's an interesting paradox, and I tell you this, I've told you this for years. Even though the world appears to be debt saturated, there's not enough of it. There's not enough debt to keep the system going. Henceforth, why big, beautiful spending bills and everything else they could come along with to continue to inflate. And that means they're going to kill the currency. The Federal Reserve is going to get in here and start cutting rates and cutting rates and cutting rates. And no matter how much they cut, you're going to hear our illustrious president here say it's not enough. I guarantee you that, because he wanted negative rates last time he was the president. Remember that? Anyway, here's the situation. So liquidity is drying up faster, and I called this years ago. With less buyers of U.S. debt, the last resort is now to draw down the TGA, the Treasury General Account. Does that make sense to you? This literally is, the last straw here. Yes, for years now, I have been covering and screaming from rooftops about this. Real liquidity. Now, this is where I want you guys to pay direct attention to. Real liquidity that is usable, productive capital is vanishing, okay? Even as the global debt continues to rise. That's the situation that I've been discussing for years. Why? Because most of the liquidity that has been pumped into the system has not brought about increased production. It's all about propping up a dead system, a zombie. It's a zombie system. When a system, a business, whatever, consumes more than it produces, it's a zombie. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. Anyway, so why? Because most of the liquidity pumped into the system has not been brought increased production, but to prop up the system. Moreover, the actual velocity of money, and you can look this up for yourself, I've been talking about this for 1,000 years, is deteriorating. Less real capital is flowing through the productive economy. The economy is contracting by their own numbers. We're in a manufacturing contraction. The whole entire global economy is contracting at its fastest pace ever, and it's not going to stop. So they're going to keep pumping it. Their solution, I'm going to give you one guess as to what their solution is. Oh, yes, it's more debt. Go ahead. Make it up. Make it up. Now, Babylon knows no other tool. The entire beast system is based upon debt expansion. To solve a liquidity problem, what are they going to do? Cut rates aggressively, revive QE in one form or the other. Right now, there is stealth QE going on. Oh, yeah, the Fed's buying it all. And even with that, there's a problem here in the debt market. Now, possibly even some kind of fiscal stimulus funded by the central bank or whatever it might be. But what is this going to do? People, look, man, I'm preaching to the choir here. But this further destroys the currency's purchasing power, increases malinvestment, which means we could see the stock market go up despite the distortions that currently exist to a certain degree, okay? And therefore exacerbates the overall problem And I wrote here, it's akin to a heroin addict whose tolerance is so high that the next shot will kill him, but he takes it anyway because the pain of withdrawal is worse. Does that make sense? Are we on the same page? I'd be willing to bet everyone's saying, yeah, Greg, I get it. Now, aggressive rate cuts equals accelerated currency devaluation. Fact. The market is now pricing in that the Fed will slash rates. Of course, President Trump, I want a 1% cut. They're working together here, quite obviously. Fed will slash rates as the global economic slowdown accelerates. But the consequences is that the dollar's purchasing power will erode even faster. And we, the people, guess what? We lose. Now, you will likely see, I should say absolutely will see, hard assets, precious metals, commodities react upward, and stocks initially, as I just said a minute ago, will celebrate. But ultimately, sovereign debt crisis fears will escalate, and that's bad for the stock market. Look, man, this is all going to end very badly. A liquidity crisis on a massive scale. There's going to be pandemonium on the streets, and they know it. And that's where California comes in. That's where California comes in. But you see, Greg, you're a conspiracy theorist. I've already heard this. Greg, you have no idea what's really going on. We got to get these illegals out. Okay, I'm not saying I'm against that, but this is not what it appears to be. Let us move forward. You think you know what's really going on in California? Think again. Lions. Trump is sending Marines and federalized National Guard using a stretched legal basis, Title 10. We all know about this, without a formal Insurrection Act declaration. This is not about simple crowd control. This is about testing. This is about testing how far the federal government can push military presence into the civilian sphere. Why? Because they realize we are marching right into a worst case scenario. Pandemonium on the streets. That's where we're going. This is why every Friday I say love each other, care about each other, be charitable to each other, because that's where we're going, people. We're going to need each other. Come on, man. Oh, why? Why is this happening? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. It's about illegals, right? The fight against illegals is the cover story. That's all. A narrative designed to gain broad public approval, or at least some kind of a passive acceptance. And that's really what's going on, isn't it? But the real operation is deeper. They are testing federal override of state authority, public tolerance of uniformed troops in urban areas, military chain of command discipline in civil contexts, media framing and propaganda effectiveness. They can sell the story, and can they sell the story and avoid public backlash? They know mass civil unrest is coming. Economic strain, food inflation, debt collapse. Are we on the same page? I hope so, people. And it gets better. Currency debasement. They are preparing the playbook. How do we impose order when the system buckles, collapses? And that is why this California test matters. It's a dry run. Eventually, when the dollar collapses, and it's already there pretty much, and people take to the streets in desperation, they will deploy it for economic martial control. And why Marines? Because they are rapidly deployable, disciplined, used to force projection. A little typo there, less connected to local communities than guard troops. This is a psychological move as much as a legal one. Condition the public to see uniformed military on the streets. They are watching how the public reacts, how legal battles play out, and how troops perform under political command. This is preparation for the next phase of Babylon's collapse. Now tell me where I got this wrong, because I know I got it all wrong, right? Babylon is going to push back. That's what's going on here, in case you don't know, with this blog as of late. Why these videos, the last several of them, got flagged for, potentially misinformation here. Why the comments come here. It's all about Babylon pushing back. But let me tell you something. I can push back even harder. harder. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. I didn't get a word of that wrong, just in case you were wondering. Okay, for those of you who think, oh, Greg is wrong. Trump is doing the right thing here. No, it's about control. It's all about control. It's about usurping state law. It's about usurping every law, the Constitution, and every freaking thing else, people. Wake the freak up. I think we got this down, don't we? I. Absolutely. All right, guys, listen, I covered a lot here with you today, and I want to hear from you on both of these things. U.S. Treasury, this is tremendous. And let me ask you something, because we're all friends, right? Why are you not hearing about this drawdown from our illustrious Treasury Secretary, the President of the United States, a central banker, or anybody else? Because they think you're too stupid. They think you don't know, and they want to keep you dumbed down, controlled. That's all it is. They allow you to know what they want you to know, and then they reshape it to fit their narrative. But let me say this. I are lions here, and I'm even starting to look more like a lion every freaking day. Aren't I out here? That's what we're doing here, people. We are lions, and we are not going to let this system destroy us. Nope, not happening on my watch. Sorry. Anyway, before we get out of here until tomorrow, and I really want to look into this PIMCO thing. PIMCO is actually saying, prepare for a new world order. They don't even hide it anymore. None of this new world order troops, governments really run by central banks. Tell Greg Mannarino one more time. What is the enforcement arm of the Federal Reserve? Do you know what it is? It's the United States military, even including its nuclear thought out how they spring this on us. It's incredible. And then they tell you what they're going to do before they do it. So when you see it, it doesn't hit you as hard, but again, it's a way to get them to squeeze whatever they possibly can out of you and more. Right, Jonathan? I appreciate that so much. Yeah, Doge, exactly. Be very careful what you wish for. Come on, we all knew this was a scam since day one. You knew it. I knew it. I said it publicly on day one. I got called out. I got ridiculed. Oh, but guess what? Turned out to be correct, didn't I? Of course. Because it's too easy. They make it too easy for I. Understand? Overstand? Nah, I tell you, man. It's just absolutely exactly, Mark. You see what Mark wrote right here? I can't even repeat this kind of stuff because this is the kind of stuff they're going to get shut down. 100%. All right, guys, listen, man. I'm going to let you all go. They cut off the audio. Is that right? I wouldn't be surprised. Look, this is Babylon pushing back. Let's show Babylon how hard we can push back collectively. They don't like it. They don't want to hear this stuff. And I already told you, if they take me down here, I will post directly to my Substack. So if you have not yet, please do sub there. I send out newsletter after. I love writing. I really do. Maybe I should have become some kind of a writer. I did write a whole bunch of books and publications before any of this, but I really do. And I enjoy it. So I send this stuff out all day. When something clicks, for example, this whole thing with California, my buddy Frank, you're out here, lives a couple blocks away. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but he talked about it to and it just said, I said, that's it. I said, I got to talk about it. And some people asked me my take. I kind of wasn't going to say anything because I thought everyone here is smart enough to understand what's actually going on. I knew all of you get it. I mean, come on, man. All right, guys. So listen, I'm going to get out of here. I do have to help one of my neighbors move some furniture, believe it or not. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I like helping people out. Going, gold. I appreciate it so much. Also, guys. All right, guys. Look, love you all from the heart with all I got. Please get the video out there. If I've earned you a thumbs up, I appreciate it. Do it. Let's push back against Babylon. They're going to push us. Are we going to allow them to do that? No. Not with this pride of lions and lionesses. There is no way that's happening. Love you guys. See you in the morning.